The main segment tonight, which I think we're gonna jump into now, is we've each got a couple of bands that we thought coulda should have been bigger than they were. They may have been big, but we may have thought they should have been bigger than they were. They
I
may
feel like we need a
also.
better name.
Oh,
Maybe.
well, do you have one?
No, but I'm just the way you're saying,
Oh,
like it's so
shit.
elongated. It's not band Vantage. Bands
No.
that should have been bigger. This is a
Yeah.
hard one.
It's a tough one. Yeah.
It'll come to us.
Yeah, I thought about it all day, so I don't think it's gonna happen right now.
I get nothing. Yeah. It does lend itself to a topic we have discussed in the past, the whatever happened to that band episode we did.
Yep.
Some of these could be that. Some of them are bands that were big for a time but didn't last, and then some obviously had some stuff happen. Some of them may still be bands, but we just think they should have been bigger because of how good we think they are. So
Exactly.
we've got a couple. There's no negativity here. We're just thinking they're really good. Like, why weren't they bigger than they are? Who knows? No, we have some reasons, I'm sure, too.
Yeah, it's a total it's a total positive thing. It's like these guys were good, but for some reason the public didn't agree to the extent that we did or do.
Who wants to lead off?
Nate, you're going to lead off and you're going to get
I
right
like
into it. You're not going to beat around the bush.
90s OG.
I'm already dragging it out just for the title of the segment.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do like the hints though to start.
Yeah, you got
The
hints?
hints?
Yeah.
Hints. Nate's hints.
Yep. What's the name of the episode? Nate's Hints.
It's a 4-hour episode.
Yeah, it will take a while to get through. Buckle up.
Let's see. This band. Well, wow. 90s. Not OG though.
It's a 90s band, but they're not OG.
Semisonic.
We need more than that, Nate. You know we need more than that. This happens every fucking week, bro.
They kind of have the rap rock thing going on a little bit.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
More?
They opened for a tour with Papa Roach and Trust Company back in the day.
Oh, you're going to take mine. I thought for sure you weren't going to.
Ooh, wow.
Was their first really big song a cover?
No.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
Okay, now I know where you're going.
Okay.
Me? Oh,
No,
Tom.
me.
I think you're talking about Shovel.
No, I almost picked that. I wanted to pick that.
Shovel.
The production value on that album is pretty bad.
All right, well, give it to us, man. We obviously don't know.
All right. Not many people know this one. They're kind of off the radar a little bit. Chronic Future.
Oh, yeah, see, I love them, and I didn't write them down, and I'm kind of surprised you picked them, though. That's great.
Really? Nice. Yeah, man. Me and our former guest, Rob Ricatelli, were big fans of this band. We were championing the band all the time, and just felt like they never got the time of day. They did have a single on the radio for their third album.
Time and time again.
Yeah, exactly. Off the album Lines. Was it Lines in My Face?
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I actually remember Rob called me and said, hey, come to the radio station. I want you to check out this band because they would get advanced copies and stuff. So we listened to it in the studio, and we were both like, yeah, man, this band's awesome. And he actually called me to come check it out because he's like, I know you really like Head PE. And the vocalist in here kind of has that like hip hop rap rock thing going with like a kind of like a hybrid of like Daryl from Glassjaw, kind of bendy, weird, crazy voice too. But yeah, man, I just feel like they came and went. I mean, it says they formed in 95, but I didn't hear from them until this album, Lines in Your Face. But yeah, I feel like they just kind of disappeared. I don't think many people know who they are, which is too bad. So I don't know if you guys, Tony, you said you knew something about them.
Similar reason, Rob also turned me onto them as well.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, Lines in My Face was the album that I spent the most time with, and Time and Time Again is a great song. There's a bunch of songs on that album that are really good. I would definitely urge any of you to go back and listen. It looks like they have 3 or 4 albums out.
Yeah.
3 it looks like, on at least on Apple Music, starting in 96, 2000, and 2004. And yeah, 04, that album 04, Lines in My Face, I really like. I don't think I heard it in 04 though, so that might be part of it. I'm not sure if they were dropped. Do you know any of the reason as to why they stopped making music?
I think they were dropped. I remember the record rep was trying to push them and was really happy that me and Rob were, stoked on them. But, if they're not, pulling a return for the label, they have to get dropped, unfortunately. Yeah. There's just only so much money promotional wise. They were with Interscope, so Interscope had some heavy hitters. So anyone that's underperforming, unfortunately, kind of falls by the wayside. That's kind of, obviously goes to the theme of this whole segment.
Well, and these guys were kind of probably not. This album was probably not great timing because it was mid 2000s when things were kind of going, strokesy, indie rockish. That was kind of the big thing with radio at the time. So this didn't really fit. It would have fit 4 years prior, maybe.
That's what I was going to ask. Is I only know this band by name, and I feel like maybe they came up on a different episode, or maybe someone commented about them on the socials.
Someone commented when we did the
what happened to that band?
What happened to those guys? Somebody said you should do Chronic Future, and they were on my list for what happened.
Oh, wow.
Guys. Yeah.
So I can't really pinpoint them, but so who would they tour with? Like, so they don't fit in with the Strokes. Do they fit in with the Warped Tour crowd at all?
Yeah, Warped Tour would be a good fit.
They would fit there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You said they play with Papa Roach, Nate? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the one time I tried to see them, the closest they came to Maine, I was living there at the time, was I think Rhode Island, and it was with a show with Papa Roach and Trust Company, and I was like, oh, this would be a sweet
Lupos or something.
bill. Yeah, it'd be a good gig. I didn't make it, and then they never came around, and then they broke up. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour drive for a band, maybe 2 bands you've seen already. That's tough. That's a tough. Like, am I gonna spend 6 hours in the car to go watch an hour of a show, hour and a half of a show? That's kind of tough. It was tough when we were that age. I know that.
I've done it, but yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh, so have I.
Yeah.
But it's work. You know what you're getting into. You're like, man, tomorrow's gonna suck.
I think it was like in the like deep winter too, where like you're risking your life to get on the highway.
Yeah. The Northeast, baby. So yeah, no, that's a good one.
Yeah, I feel like they should have been bigger.
I agree. Go back and listen to Lines in My Face. Great record. I love it.
Awesome record. But yeah, to answer your question, Twan, I think they kind of fell off mainly because they just weren't promoted the right way. I think that if they had gotten a little bit more juice, they might have lasted longer. But at the same time, with what you're saying, Tone, I think you're right on the mark. That 04 was like kind of the dropping point for like the whole rap rock thing. So.
Yep.
So yeah, could be both.
But I wouldn't even like lump them in with that new metal phase either. Like,
No,
they're not a new metal band. They're I don't even know how to describe them. Like you mentioned Head PE, they're not really like Head PE just because the subject matter isn't necessarily the same.
Yeah, it's considered experimental rock.
Like Zebra-ish?
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
It's like if Zebrahead now, where it's mostly just if it were just Ali, because he does more of that, right? And it's and there's 2 guys that rap for Chronic Future, right? It's not just one guy.
No, it's just one guy.
And then somebody sings, and it's similar to Zebrahead then was.
Yeah,
because they got a couple songs where it's not just rap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean they're.
Yeah, so they should have been bigger, but I don't know. I feel like maybe one of you guys have something that should have been even bigger than them.
Maybe. Are you segueing into one of ours?
I think
he is.
Who's gonna take the bait?
All right, guys. The segue streak is gone too far. I'll go. I got one for you. Twan, I think you may know it because I kind of half gave you a hint there early on. Their first song was a cover. Their big song was a cover. Probably still their biggest song.
Yeah, it's definitely Alien Ant Farm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It is Alien Ant Farm. Good call. Smooth Criminal is what I'm talking about, which is the Michael Jackson cover they did 2000, 2001. So yeah, that album, Anthology, I think is a great record. And it's not unfortunate because they made it with Smooth Criminal, but the rest of the album is good. Like it kind of got overshadowed. Courage is a really good song. Attitude's a really good song.
Attitude's great. Yeah.
Movies, which was the other single they played.
Yeah.
That's a great song. Like they made good songs. Nobody sounded like them. Dryden was nobody sounds like him. They were, kind of a fun. They started in the new metal scene. They played with Papa Roach, but they're not really new metal either.
No.
There's like no rap. They were good. I enjoyed them. They opened for 311 here in 03 on the out for Truant, which fun fact about Truant, it was produced by the DeLeo brothers of the Stone Temple Pilots. I did not know that.
That's right.
Looking this up, yeah, which was pretty cool. I like that album a lot. I think that album is close to a front to back. Glow is really good. These Days is the big single. I like the final track, Hope. It's a good rock album. And then they were on DreamWorks, I think.
Yes.
And DreamWorks got bought and ended up, I think it was Geffen that bought them, or they ended up on Geffen, and Geffen wouldn't let them release their third album, their third major. It was done, it was ready to go. They called the third draft. They said no, and then finally they allowed them to release it on a subsidiary of that down the line called Up in the Attic, which I listened to today for the first time in years, but I liked it back when it came out. And I still like it. It's still good. It's not as good as the first two, but I still thought it was good. So these guys I thought should have on their own merit been bigger than they were. And obviously, having their label get sold didn't help them. Their promotion kind of dried up, just like Chronic Future and others in this category, I'm sure. And that was kind of a bummer for me. But yeah, I thought these guys are good.
I have a take on maybe what factored into that. Bandicap.
You don't like the name?
The name stinks.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
The
that's a good
name's
point.
tough.
It's a tough name. So Anthology was that was the first album. True Ant was the album cover with like the track guy and the.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I didn't listen to that one. I feel like I had Anthology, but outside of movies and Smooth Criminal, I cannot think of a single other song.
Well, you're in luck because they'll be on the playlist this week, and you'll be able to
Maybe
check out.
there you
Attitude.
go.
Maybe Attitude.
Attitude's a cool song, yeah. And Courage is a good song. And the reason I know Courage, and I've brought this up in the past, Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder, baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
It was one of the songs, that one and that Papa Roach song, and there's a couple others. But yeah, that was one of the first songs that would play. And actually, I think there was a Shooties Groove song on there too. So like,
Nice.
this is where I was in 2001, 2002.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, I think you're right. Handicap for sure. I didn't even think of that. It's so true. The logo and everything's kind of like dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been.
Oh.
It could have been a little better.
Well, think of the merch. Like, are you gonna wear an
Yeah.
Alien Ant Farm shirt? I don't know. I mean, the design would have to be special. like,
Small.
small.
Very small.
Should
Small
have
and in
had
the
Frank do it for him. I mean, we all like to wear pony,
Right.
the white
corner.
pony.
Frank.
That's a great
Frank could
point.
have carried that band.
Yeah.
Frank could have brought that band to the moon. Yeah. They're a great live band. I saw them.
Yeah.
Like you said, 311. The first time I saw them was opening for Papa Roach. The Notorious one, I think we've talked about at the Orpheum Theater in Boston. And yeah, they're a great band. I've met them. Dryden. So
Yeah.
frontman. He's
Yep.
a cool guy. Yeah, I agree. They should have been bigger, but I think the band Vantage thing is very accurate.
And I definitely think that they were in the shadow of that Smooth Criminal cover, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
that song was massive when they released it as a cover. It was all over the radio. There was a huge video that everybody saw. You couldn't get away from it at that time, and that may have turned some people off because that happens sometimes, right? You're like, okay, you guys are kind of cool. This song was cool the first 10 times I heard it, but now I've heard it 400 and I don't want to hear it anymore, and it's not even your song, so maybe the people are turned off that way. And then throw in the Bandicap, right?
Yeah.
That's
I
probably
actually
the reason why.
recently saw they're still a band. I recently saw a video of theirs, and it was like a home video style where I think they just filmed each other, almost like a selfie cam or something, different people. I feel like that was them. I have to confirm that, but
They are still a band. They put a single out in May that was another cover, and they were working on the original group got back together. A couple guys had left. One guy went to college and then came back. Another had left for some other reason, and they're all back together now. So yeah, they're still a band. All right, Twan.
yeah, I was looking up their discography, and there's some albums that I didn't even know about.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
one a couple years ago, 5 years ago, maybe 4 or
Yeah.
5 years ago. I haven't listened to that one, and I will because now thinking about these guys again, I wanna get back to it. But yeah,
It sucks about that label thing. Like they delayed the third one because I mean, way to kill a band's momentum. Just like shelve it.
Yep.
Okay. Like we need to get something out to the fans. We need tour support. We need to put out an album to get tour support. And you're shelving our album. Like, what are we supposed to do? Fucking wait tables for a little bit? Like, it's
Right.
not
so
cool.
they were taking that album and giving bootleg copies to fans at shows.
Wow.
Nice.
So it'd be kind of cool. That'd be a cool piece of nerdery to have now
Oh yeah.
as a
Mhm.
fan. Like, yeah, I got the bootleg copy of this album before it came out, and it was a different name then too. So that's kind of obviously deep dive nerdery for us.
All right, let's keep the train rolling. So I'll go with my first one. So I'll tease this a little bit. So this band made a little bit of a splash in the early 2000s. I would put them in the Taking Back Sunday, brand new, newfound glory-esque. So a total absolute punk.net band. Released 2 albums from Alabama, of all places.
Do I know it?
I don't know.
Trust Company?
No.
They're from Alabama, aren't they?
I don't know. Are
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
they are. They don't fit the rest of that. They just fit the Alabama piece. So I was like,
Right,
oh,
yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah, they're more into. I would say they're more of a Warped Tour band. They're on Triple Crown Records, and the band is North Star. So
I've never heard of them.
I'll pause there. Do you guys know these guys at
No.
all?
Nope.
I've seen that name, but no.
So they again they fit right in with that brand new Taking Back Sunday type of sound. They I actually saw them in 2003. They opened for Motion City Soundtrack and Rufio. So that kind of tells you what they were, you know, their company. But they released 2 albums. Is This Thing Loaded in 2002, I think, and then Pollyanna in 2004. I'm telling you, Pollyanna is a front to back. I mean, I say this a lot. In genre classic. It is an in genre classic. If you like Brand New, you'll like, or Newfound Glory. I'd say if those 2 bands had a kid, this is kind of what you'd get with them. But they just never, you know, they opened for those bands. I don't know if they ever headlined a show, not a show, but headlined a tour. And I have a few different reasons why I think it didn't work out. So Nate, do you remember these guys at all?
No, I can't think of them right now.
I got nothing too.
I think if you heard them, maybe you'd recognize them, but you'll like it. You'll definitely like it. I'll throw some bangers on the playlist.
I just downloaded Pollyanna because that's right up my alley.
Perfect.
Listening to you talk about it, I'm like, yeah, no, I mean, we haven't delved into too much Brand New with what's gone on with Jesse in the past, and we won't do much here. But one of my favorite bands ever going before all that happened, so I'm sure I'll like this.
Yeah, I would say if TBS, Brand New, and Newfound Glory had a kid, it would be this band.
I like all those.
But a few reasons came to mind. One was the lead singer played guitar. He was not a, you know, swinging the mic front man like bands of that ilk.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you had to, if you were going to break through and be a TBS level band, you had to have that eccentric front man. You had to have a Burt McCracken. Those are all those bands. They fit into that mold, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second is dark themed lyrics, pretty dark. A lot of hard drug references. They're a bit hidden, but if you dive into it, and I know there was some abuse there, drug abuse with this band. Another reason, saturated market. I mean, you had to really stand out. In that early 2000s, a lot of bands like this were a dime a dozen. And the last one is they're from fucking Alabama. Like,
yeah.
If you put them in Long Island, New York with TBS, Brand New, it'd be a whole different story. They would be in that conversation, guaranteed. Listen to Pollyanna. I think you guys will love it.
That's on the docket for me tomorrow. Yeah, that makes sense. The play, you know, we don't talk a lot about location being an issue, but for this, I think you're right. If they're in a place where that music is popular, it's kind of all over, permeates the culture of, you know, Long Island has had a bunch of different genres of music do that there. They probably would have been bigger. I would know more about them today than I do now. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, all good points. And the fact they're from Alabama, they didn't have like the local scene probably as into that type of music. So yeah, I see what you're saying there. And then the dime a dozen thing, it's like, man, like all like the old programs they have for Warped Tour and stuff like that. It's like a list of just so many. There's no way to check them out, all of them. So
there's too many. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and we've talked about that too, right? The late 90s, early 2000s, all the money in the industry. And when looking up Alien Ant Farm, I saw they were on DreamWorks Records. I was like, I thought they did movies. There was just money everywhere. So that's how bands ended up on DreamWorks Records, right? Which ended up folding because that wasn't sustainable. But yeah, it's crazy.
You know what that reminds me of is like there was a meme about it recently, how like Yamaha does pianos and jet skis. And it's like, I bet there's Yamaha records.
Yeah, there probably is. Yeah.
That's great. That's a good point. Yamaha.
Well, the other thing, getting back to like the look of the band, where the front man played guitar, so he's not out there in front like a Burt McCracken or a Adam Lazzara of TBS. They're also just regular looking dudes. Like in half the live videos, the singer's wearing like a trucker hat. You know what I mean? It's like they didn't play the part, which I'm all for. Like don't change to fit a mold.
Well, mics are for singing, not swinging.
Right.
I mean,
exactly. But they didn't play into that, and I'm sure there's a lot of dynamics that went on with this group, some turmoil and stuff. But a couple of them went on to form that band Casino, Cassino. They were big in the absolute punk scene back then. I couldn't name one song by them, but when we said we were going to do this segment, they were the first band that came to mind because I listened to this, I'm telling you, every 3 or 4 months. It's actually what I listened to all this week, and that's probably another reason why it was top of mind.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
That's
will
awesome.
definitely check that out. Yeah, that's it sounds. I mean, you know me and my love for some of that music. I definitely will be into that.
Yeah, I think you guys will dig it.
Yeah, and all the points you made really make a lot of sense too, because bands like that, where like their financial backing is really trying to target like a certain age group. So talking about like dark lyrics, drugs, and stuff, it's just not going to work out
Yeah.
for unit sales. It's just
I
like,
think you're right.
yeah, it's like double, parental advisory type stuff.
If you're going to go that route, you need to be. There's a couple things that need to break right for you. It probably needs to be thinly veiled. You need to have, if you look at the way Brand New did it, you need to just be mysterious and quiet, and you don't see much of them. And all of a sudden, when you do get something, you're like, holy shit, there's something coming.
Right.
That type of thing. I mean, the marketing around them was insane for quite some time, and it worked. It built hype. And that's, especially in the age of the internet, building hype is a huge deal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if this band reunited, if anyone would care. I mean, they had just had 2 albums, and I think they have like 15,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. So there's still, there's still some base there, but they just didn't. I think there was a lot left in the tank, and we just didn't get it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just one more thing on that just made me think of the Apple Music or the ATV service, where there's always fans. The Spotify metrics prove that internationally, or even us, that we have a fan in Ethiopia or whatever. So,
Right.
so the band,
I can't get over that. I'm sorry. It's fucking nuts to me.
It's nuts. It doesn't make any sense. But whoever you are, please reach out to our email.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I don't know how many fans they have, but if they did do exclusive content to serve that, audience, big or small, that's a way to generate revenue for them. So I guess it could work. So many bands where it's like you see it on like Reddit, like, oh, if they did a reunion show, like all these people would fly in from all over the world, like a Reveille type thing.
But, yeah, nostalgia's strong, right? Especially pre-COVID, nostalgia was super strong. Going to see, I mean, I remember going to see Taking Back Sunday on the 10-year for Tell All Your Friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm all in on this.
Absolutely.
I'm not the kid that loved that stuff growing up. I still love that stuff, but I've obviously grown up and things have changed around me, but I'm absolutely ready to go back to that 10 years ago feeling, right? We just want to do that. Same thing with any of these bands. If there was any kind of following, then they definitely would definitely have that. All right, Nate, what do you got?
Crazy. All right. So this band, they're not small and they're not, a forgotten band per se, but I feel like they just should have been bigger, man. They should have been bigger. They are kind of an eclectic group. Female lead singer. She's probably the most known. Any guesses?
Not with just that hint. I mean, I guess I could say Paramore.
Nope.
Because they're pretty big, so that doesn't really count.
Right.
There's a producer in the band.
Garbage.
Yep. Garbage.
Butch Vig, right? And Shelly Mance. Yeah.
Yeah. From Wisconsin. Great band. Another 90s OG.
Totally. Yeah, they fit that 90s OG.
A 90s OG that, like, speaking of Sirius XM earlier, they come on the Lithium station quite often. Every time they do, I'm like, hell yeah. It's an interesting sound, right? Because they're like rock, but there's some like industrial layers in there, some pop sensibility, but kind of has like this dark, filter over it with Shirley Manson's fronting and so forth. And I don't know. I always thought they were great, and their songs are great. I saw them live once, and they, the whole show was just hits. It's like, just a nonstop hit after hit show. And I remember thinking when I was watching that show, this at the Avalon in Boston, I don't know, 15 years ago or so, and thinking, man, this should be in like an arena with these songs and the light show, and like got Butch Vig in the band, but they're playing the Avalon, which is a great venue. But just showed that, like, man, these guys have been at this for so long. And like, I don't know if it's a sold out show at the Avalon or not, but it was like, I felt lucky that I was seeing them in such a small place, considering they were somewhat a legacy band at that point, but just, kind of fell, kind of got mixed in with everything else that came out in the 90s. Like you said, there was a dime a dozen. So there was just so much going on. Garbage is just another great band that came out at the time. So yeah, I was checking them out again this week because of this segment, and just, every song, there's no skips. If you like this type of thing. So what do you guys remember from Garbage?
How do I don't know a lot outside of the singles. How do the singles stack up to the rest of the albums? Is it pretty comparable or?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. There, it has that sound kind of throughout all their songs, but the singles kind of, give you that answer too, where they're just kind of all over the place. A lot of dark lyrics too, of course, but different kind of. It seems like arena rock. It's just like very loud and like sing along type stuff. But yeah, even the non singles are pretty solid. So I like all their stuff.
That makes sense with Butch Vig in the band, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he produced some big rock bands for a long time that were in those big spaces with sing-alongs and just should have fit in that bigger venue type. So maybe that's why that feels that way for them.
Mhm.
I'll be honest, I did not like this band when I was younger. I haven't revisited much now, but I definitely have a bigger appreciation for them than I would have when I was 19 for numerous reasons. Knowing more about it, knowing Butch Vig a little bit better, and listening to him talk about Garbage and producing for other bands, I definitely have a different respect for what they did as a band than I would have when I was 18, 19, 16, 17, when they were, 11, 12 when they put their first record out. So, yeah.
I didn't even know he was in the band.
Yeah. Pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
The huge name and
Massive.
did his own thing, and like they were big, but I hear you, Nate. They probably could have been bigger.
Yeah, they're usually the opener.
And they do. They're not a bandicap, but Garbage is a good name for a band.
Yeah,
it is cool. Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, all original members, similar to your band that you mentioned, Twan. They're kind of from not the middle of nowhere, I guess, but Madison, Wisconsin. You wouldn't picture that considering their sound. But then again, like I don't know if Wisconsin has its own sound, so you kind of adapt to what you like, I guess, as an artist. Yeah, Butch Vig being in there is interesting because it's kind of buried in there. Like I actually this show that I saw at the Avalon came with a meet and greet, and I remember taking the picture, and everyone's like huddled around Shirley Manson. I'm like, dude, this fucking Butch Vig's over here, man. Like,
I know, right?
that's a legend over here.
That's a testament. That's a testament to Shirley Manson, right?
Yes.
I mean, she was obviously fairly charismatic front woman for a rock band in the mid 90s into the early 2000s. There wasn't a lot of that kicking around that was popular. So,
yeah.
I mean, Gwen Stefani with No Doubt. Give me another one. Like, there's not a lot of it, right?
Yeah,
so
only solo artist. Yeah.
That's a testament to her.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I always thought she was going to go solo, like split off and have that label pressure where they're like, you know what, you deserve your own thing. You should go solo and take the contract and essentially break up the band. That never happened, and they're still going today, which is really cool.
Yeah, yep, that's a good one. Nate.
Yeah, Garbage. They should have been bigger.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I am with you, just based on the singles.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I've done a 180 on them since they're not a band that I'm like seeking out, but at the same time, I'm like, no, that's actually listening to that song. It's produced really well. It sounds really good. She's a great front woman. Like everything fits. Like why were you dumb about this when you were younger? That
Right.
type of thing. Because that happens, right? You're allowed to change your opinion though, right? This is America.
Maybe you thought it was
Ethiopia, if that's where you are. I don't know.
Maybe you thought it was band Vantage as a young one. Garbage.
Yeah, this is garbage. Good one. That's a good one. All right, am I up?
You're up, round two.
So my second band is a band that I think you're both familiar with. I almost texted this to you earlier, but I figured I would use this for now, Nate, especially. It's a band I've asked Nate to listen to probably 5 times. I'm not sure he has yet, but it's been years since I've done it. It's probably been 4 or 5 years since I've asked it to. So they fit in that sort of absolute punk. They're not hard. They're like emo revival. They're not really emo from early on. I think their first album was 2011. Let me see here. Yeah, 2011. So they're a little after that kind of first emo wave. Their biggest album came out. Their second album was #1 on Absolute Punk Top 30 Albums of 2014. I don't know if that gives you anything. And then I think their third album is their best album. That came out in 2016. No, but that's a good guess. It's right around that time. I was listening to them a lot too. No, their name is the same, but they changed the spelling of it from the first album to the second album. And I think their Twitter is still the old spelling, which is kind of funny.
Wow, I'm stumped.
The Hotel Year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, they were the Hotel Year, and then they just changed it to HOTLIER, Hotelier, like one
I
word.
didn't know that. Is that the same band?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they I fucking love this band. They were a show regret for me back in our show regret episode. They were opening for Frank Turner in Boston, and I just couldn't get down there. I Home Like No Place Is There is a great record. That was the one that was number one on Absolute Punk's top 30 of 2014. I really love Goodness. That came out 4 years ago. Yeah, May of 2016, I believe. I own all 3 records on vinyl. I've spun them all. I've asked Nate to listen to this band at least 5 times, and I don't think he has yet. Go ahead, Nate. Have you?
Prove us wrong, Nate.
I'm gonna be honest, no. But there's
Nope, you haven't. You're
there's
a
a
dick.
recent meme about this too, right?
What's
Where, like,
that?
there's a recent meme about this thing where like someone's suggesting music. It's like, have you checked it out? No. And then you revisit it again. The guy's like yelling at him, like, "Come on, I'm fucking trying to help you."
Yeah, so I'm now yelling at you because it's been 5 years and 6 times. You should listen to this band; they're really good.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll
no,
do it.
they're just both of the funny thing about them is they're different. I think they take on the personality of their frontman Christian Holden, who after Goodness came out, I think he always was a poker player, but kind of went and did the poker pro thing for a little while.
Wow.
Yeah, so they've played some shows here and there. Obviously, nothing this year. They might have done something before the pandemic, but they it doesn't happen a lot, and it makes the show regret all that much more hurtful that I didn't get a chance to see them because I love all 3 records. The first one's a little obviously less produced and a little more maybe in the pop punk realm, but after that they get a little more emo and kind of hone their craft, and they just sound great. I'm surprised, Twan, you must know this band a little bit.
Just from you, actually. It's funny. They're from Massachusetts, but
Yeah.
I just pulled them up on Wiki. They changed the name because they just kind of didn't like it, and it was too close to the band My Hotel Year, and they were another absolute punk band. They got their name from that Atari song, but only through you. I didn't know these guys.
Interesting. Okay. I don't know how I found them then. Must have been Absolute Punk. Must have been Tate. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jason. Episode 23 guest. Must have
Nice.
been Jason. So, Nate, you got some homework to do, my friend.
I will. You got my word. I will check them out for
They'll be
sure.
on the playlist,
Especially
Nate.
because
I think these guys, it'll be tough to pick a couple songs for the playlist. I'll be able to do it, but the albums as a whole they're meant to be that way. Like, you've got to go and listen to the full album, especially the second one and the third one. They're just meant to be one piece of music. Like, sit for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. I think Home is 36 minutes long, but Goodness is a little longer. They're great records. I'm telling you. I think you guys will like them too.
I feel like I checked them out a couple times when you mentioned it and liked them, but I can't pin a song. I couldn't pin a song right now.
I'll put some good ones on there.
Yeah,
I'll put some
excited
good
for
ones
the
on there.
playlist.
Yeah, I'm just bummed I never got to see him. And it's funny they started some like Christian did some like collective with a few other bands last year, and that's how I bought the first record on vinyl because they were like selling off backstock to kind of fund the collective.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously like the pandemic happened and things changed, and they weren't able to probably be a little more together and active as a band for like a lot of people, and it just kind of went by the wayside. But they were starting to kind of kick the tires on doing stuff, which for it to go away, it was kind of a bummer for me.
Yeah, but they're
damn.
still active. They're still an active band.
I think so. I mean, I haven't seen or heard much in a while, so I'm hoping at some point we get another record. But what we've gotten so far, I think all 3 records are great, and I think you guys like all 3 of them. So there's a progression there too. Like you'll hear they're a different band from start to finish, and that's kind of cool too.
That's awesome. It's cool that all the albums are front to back. You're saying?
Yeah, and they're pieces of art. Like they go together. Like it's not.
Okay.
And there are plenty of bands that have done stuff like that. Like you're gonna listen to "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd from front to back because you have to, because it fits as one piece. Yeah, you can pull out "Wish You Were Here," you can pull out "Have a Cigar," but that whole album together makes sense. Same thing with this. I think, and obviously not to the level of Pink Floyd, but different genre, different type of music. But yeah, there's some front to backness to definitely records 2 and 3.
I wonder if this is a different segment where it's like track list vantage. Like literally,
Yeah.
like people weren't ready to listen to something in its entirety, so they're like, I would have dug this, but it's too much work or something.
There's
Yeah.
definitely something to that.
Mhm.
I was asking you to make a little bit of a commitment, so I understand. I understand, Nate. Hey,
I'll do
we're
it.
all busy. We all got lives. We all got stuff going on, and then like you have to want to listen to a bit, and maybe that's why this band isn't bigger. You have to want to listen to album from front to back to appreciate it, and then you might have to spend more than one listen with it to really get it. And that has killed many a band as far as popularity.
Yeah, I'll throw this on tomorrow. What was the album? You said it was Home Like No Place Is There?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the second full, and then Goodness is the third one, and they're both. I mean, I like the first one too, but the first one doesn't have the weight of the other two. I don't think.
I recognize the cover to
Yeah.
Home Like No Place Is There.
Yeah, so I've heard Christian talk about that house and spray painting on it. How people go and try to find that house now, kind of similar to people going to find that where the picture where Devil and God was done for Brand New.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's and and anything like that. Going to find Jim Morrison's grave, you know what I mean? Like there's people that just go to try to do that stuff
Yeah.
because they're nerds like we are, and it was trouble for the family that bought that house. It was like
wow.
stop, and he was telling people like stop going to that house, like leave them alone. Yeah.
Oh man, that sucks. That's like the Breaking Bad house, right, with the pizza on the
Goonies
roof.
house. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Damn.
People just throwing pizzas on that house.
Yeah, that would suck.
I said Fritos, not Cheetos, Marie.
Oh man,
All
best
right.
shows ever.
Yeah, so good. All right, Twan, you got one more for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna mix things up a little bit. This will be the first non-band of the night. It's an artist.
Nice. I like that.
Ooh, nice.
And I would say a genre we all love, I assume, but one we have not discussed, I think, at all. And it's R&B. Male R&B
Okay.
Nice.
dropped his debut in 2010. And if you think back to like, I don't know, maybe Instagram posts or something for me, or maybe just hearing me talk, I love this artist. I think he should be the modern king of R&B. It should not be Usher. It shouldn't be Chris Brown. It shouldn't be...
Ooh, I know. I think I know.
Go ahead.
No, well, you're gonna keep dropping hints.
No,
or-
go for it.
Oh, is it Jason Derulo?
No,
Miguel.
it's Miguel.
Oh, nice.
It is definitely
I did
Miguel.
live with you. I did live with you at the time, so
Yeah.
that helped. That helped.
Dude, I am so all in on him. He dropped that All I Want Is You album in 2010, 2011, and that was a total like welcome to the industry album. It was, you could tell it was like, it wasn't him. It was him. It was an industry, maybe an industry plant type of thing where it was like, we're gonna drop a single, we're gonna fit this mold. The CD cover is ridiculous. It's like him with glasses. It's whatever. But then in 2012, Kaleidoscope Dreams drops, and it starts to get into his like psychedelic bag. Like listen to I think the title track, Kaleidoscope Dreams, and your head will be in a different place.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I like that. And then 2015 or 2016, Wild Heart drops, and that is when I was like, I'm all in. That album is awesome. It's a top 5 R&B album all time for me, and I know that's a heavy statement given some of the goats in that area, but it's more experimental. He gets even more into that psychedelic bag, and it's awesome. And I saw him. We went down to Lupo's in Providence, I think in 2018, just for him. We did that 6-hour. We stayed overnight though.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Staying overnight.
And it was special. Like he was, but it shows you like he was supporting his new album, War and Leisure, and he only headlined Lupo's, which is what, 2,000 cap, not even.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Small.
no, he should have been bigger because I remember him being everywhere back in 2010, 2011 because we lived together back then. But yeah, no, that's something for me to check out for sure. That's a blind spot for me.
I'll put a couple bangers off Wild Heart on the playlist.
Nice.
He's just an artist. He's his own artist. He's unique. And then I know actually a lot of people heard of him from that Power Trip song with J. Cole.
Yes.
Oh,
It's funny you mentioned J. Cole. When you were talking, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but when you were saying that first album you put out, it was like that. We're gonna cookie cutter you. We're gonna put you into the system. That's J. Cole's first record.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
agree.
probably how they ended up together.
It's totally, actually, that's a great
the
parallel.
same thing. Yeah.
I don't think he found himself till the second Forest Hill Drive.
Born Sinner. Go listen to Born Sinner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Oh, I love that record.
great album. Nate, do you know Miguel?
No, I don't. I'll know him now. Know him now. But I was thinking when you're talking about the show, like it's hard to imagine an R&B show at Lupo's Heartbreak Hotel. But
Yeah.
that shows that they're coming up organically, not thrown right into the arena or whatever. That's cool.
There's a song off Wild Heart that features Lenny Kravitz, which is kind of a cool combination, which you wouldn't think of. I mean, I don't see Usher doing Usher or Chris Brown doing, a collabo with Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's the cool thing about this segment. We're kind of bringing things that we like to the table that we think should have been bigger, and that the fact that like I brought a couple. You guys know Alien Ant Farm, but haven't listened to the Hotelier much. I know I haven't listened to either of the two bands you brought, Twan, and same really for you, Nate. For the most part, haven't spent a ton of time with Garbage, so it's more reason to like dig into different nerdery, right? This is why we do this.
Totally. And Miguel's, I mean, he's huge. He's obviously huge. I think he should be in that modern Rushmore of R&B. I hope you guys dig it. I think you will dig the songs I put on the playlist.
Wow. So with that, if he had come out earlier, he might actually be in that Rushmore status, possibly.
Yeah, would he be like D'Angelo? Because like everybody loved Voodoo in the mid-'90s, right?
Yeah, and then he kind of, again, same type of thing where there's a cult following there, but the average R&B fan might not seek it out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, the experimental doesn't always work for everybody, but I mean, I love that shit, and I have more of an appreciation for all of that stuff now than I did when I was younger too. So, makes more sense now to me to check stuff out and just be into the moment, listen to it, enjoy it, see what you like. If you don't like it, come back to something, go listen to something else. But try it.
And there are some, like I said, Lenny Kravitz is on one song. There's a couple other rock leaning ish songs. I'll probably put those in the playlist so they fit in a little better.
Oh, they don't have to.
Yeah.
We love the tangents.
Audio tangents.
The playlist has them too. I mean, it is what it is.